Hey everybody, welcome to AI Agents Hour. Hopefully you can hear me. We kind of rushed the mic setup here today, but we also have Shrita, which Shrita, you are no longer muted. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Shane, as I understand it, you just pulled in from an Uber, just like you're holding your own like late night, show. Just got
Yeah,
the red carpet right
just
into the
right
live.
from the Uber 5 minutes ago from the airport to here. So that's the dedication. And also here,
Sorry, I had to pick up these books.
obviously we are. Where are we, Avi?
We are in the Palace of the Dog. We're in the dog patch.
We're in the dog patch in San Francisco, so we're doing it live today. Normally, Abby and I are on, other ends of the, not other ends of the world, but other ends of the United States. But today we're together, and we got Shrita to talk more hackathon and templates. So I'm excited for that. But Abby, you were out last week.
Yeah, I was sick last week. I was up in the stratosphere, so they say. But it was good. It was good. It was actually, I caught up in a lot of sleep, so that worked out well. But a lot of shit happened in last week too. So
yeah, feeling better now though.
Yeah, I'm back to normal. Got a new type of Celsius here too, cherry cola Celsius. So that's cool.
Cheers.
Is this show sponsored by Celsius?
One day.
Ongoing joke is that we're looking for a beverage sponsor, and edit the logo.
You gotta hold the can right, Shane. That would be a good start.
I'm inexperienced. They don't pay me for this,
We have a lot of episodes, and we drink Celsius in pretty much every single one.
Most of them. I'm not opposed to sugar-free Red Bull either. You know where to find us. So yeah, today we're going to be going through a whole bunch of things. We got the hackathon. We had the encore week, so we got a whole bunch of additional submissions. We're not going to spend quite as much time as we did last time. We're just going to watch the videos because we got to get through them, and then we'll give out some awards. We're having a company called Cedar come on, two of the founders from Cedar. We're going to have Security Corner with Allie. We, of course, are going to have AI news, and then the Goose is on the loose.
The Goose is on the loose today.
The Goose will be in the show. So we have Dan Goose from Dev Talk, and also he's at Vapi now. So we're going to be talking to Dan as well. So
yeah, the Goose is on the loose.
It's going to be probably a 2-hour show. So if you are here, buckle up because the shenanigans is just getting started.
There's going to be a lot of shenanigans. It's a beautiful day in San Francisco today, for once. So that's also on our side. We usually do these founders weeks in SF. I mean, I live here full time now. But, Sam's actually in the room over there, so we're all together. It's good because we get to kind of plan what the roadmaps should be and then what fixes and emergencies and all that type of stuff that we're dealing with. So I'm glad.
Yeah, it's going to be a good week. All right. So without further ado, let's talk about Mastra.build templates. All right. Hopefully we can see this. So we had a hackathon. It was originally 2 weeks, and then we extended it a week and got even more submissions. The whole goal is to build templates. We released templates not that long ago, and we've just found that people typically want to have things to, 1, learn from, and 2, potentially use as a starting spot. So they don't have to start from zero when they're building out agents and workflows. So that's what templates help you do. And so we wanted to have a hackathon around that. So we have a whole bunch of prizes that we've announced. Some of this is review if you've been watching the last few weeks. We had gift cards. We have a whole bunch of prizes just for submitting, kind of raffle prizes as well. And then of course we have ability to be potentially have your template show up in the template library under the community section. So hopefully we'll show that as well because we have some of them listed there now, assuming my PR went through. But here's the page, and so we had a whole bunch of categories. I'm not going to read them all, but we had a bunch of categories, a bunch of judges to help us out from Smithery, from WorkOS, from BrowserBase, from Arcade, from Chroma, from Recall, from Confident AI.
The homies.
And then, of course, a bunch of people from Mastra as well helping out. So let's do some awards. But before we actually go through the awards, here's the ones we're going to be judging today. judged all the rest of them last week. We're going to judge these ones today. So we're going to give out the best overall. We're going to give out best MCP server, as well as a bonus award, best use of Smithery. They win the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty sweet.
Dude, that's sick.
Best use of auth, use of web browsing, RAG, and then a crypto agent award. So not necessarily in that order, but let's talk through them. So the first one we are going to do, we're going to show, and we're going to show the videos first, and then we're going to talk through and actually give out the awards.
This one's tight.
All right, so here's the first video. Hopefully the audio comes through. 7 minutes. Okay, we're not going to watch the whole thing. We'll probably click through this because it is
and I'm going to present to you today the XRP Ledger AI agent that I built with Mastra AI. So that's a template. So I hope it's going to be okay. And yeah, so the XRP Ledger is a blockchain, and XRP is a native currency. Currently number 3 in market cap at around $3. And let me show you what I've built with Mastra. So I built an agent, XRP Ledger agent, and it allows you to query the data that is on the ledger. It allows you to submit transactions such as payments, configure accounts. You can see I've built many tools here on the right side. So let's say, for example, that I would like to know the block number, and we call it the ledger sequence on the XRP Ledger. So get the ledger sequence on mainnet. So it's going to call the right tool, and we're going to have the ledger sequence which ends by 4400. If I go back to the Explorer, you can see that we have now the 4400. That was the last ledger sequence at the time. We can as well create new wallets, so create a wallet. It's going to call the right tool. We have the public key, private key, the encoded address starting with an R, the seed, which is like an encoding of the private key as well. We can fund this wallet using a faucet on testnet. Fund this wallet on testnet with
15
XRP.
But it has been
It's going to call another tool.
Dude, imagine having this
from the wallet.
like smart contracts, like,
and after 3 to 4 seconds we should have the response. So let's take this
I'm inspired.
new address ending with.
Okay, so I would love to watch the
You
whole
get the
video.
idea.
You get the whole idea. This is a sick
It's tight.
template. This is going to be on the templates page eventually because it is awesome, and it's a really good video. So I'll probably even include the link to the video as well. We don't include all the videos, but this one's very detailed. So it'll be on.
Copy that private key is getting 15x RP, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine it's there's nothing in it, but you never know. I'm sure he took precautions, but that was an awesome
Hopefully it was
submission.
on testnet, yeah.
All right, so we got another one. It's gonna be. I mean, that was a good one.
That was great.
So it's kind of hard to follow that one up, but here we go. This one's at least 1 minute, so we can get through the whole thing. Here we go. Make sure there's some volume here.
This is my submission for the trading agent for Mastra that helps you and assist. We're using Gecko API, we're using Recall, and we're using Gemini for this output. Really doesn't matter which one you use. The toolkit the tools that we're using, we call the history. You get your process on how it happens on Mastra. You're able to see your portfolio, see your execution and balances and portfolio actions. It kind of gives you a good risk management within the code. And with regards to the workflows, it's the wrong workflow. The workflow, you're able to see, you gather the context, you generate your plan, and plan by context, and then the trading and you validate. So it can also give you some recommended trading. Haven't yet tested the output, don't have much time. Thank you for the submission.
Another crypto one.
Yeah, two in a row.
But that's not the category though, right?
Submitted under MCP and crypto.
Oh, nice.
So you could submit under multiple categories. So that one was
I would say.
under multiple. All right, we got another one that was, this one was submit under MCP category. Let's share this one.
So this is the template I built for the Mastra Hackathon. It's a smart MCP.
I'm gonna make this thing bigger. What is this thing?
There's the preview thing on the top right. Maybe that's what.
Oh, Canva. Canva's
So this is the template I built for the Mastra Hackathon. It's a smart MCP agent that literally upgrade itself on the fly. So it starts with only one MCP server. It's a text-edited MCP server to edit those files of the project by the agent itself. So when a user asks a question, if it doesn't find any MCP servers regarding that, it's going to query Smithery in real time to discover brand new MCP servers, and it can install those MCP servers in the project itself based on the user request. So let's see it in the action. List the available
make that go away.
MCP servers. So when you ask, it's gonna call its tool, and it's currently showing there is only one MCP server, text-edited MCP server. Okay. Now I can say, I want to learn about recent news
This is tight.
of AI. So when I say this,
Hey,
it's gonna search
we
Smithery
need
for
to
the
show.
related MCP servers. So it's showing the list of MCP servers.
Nice.
This is the dream.
Let's say the top
Yeah,
5.
this is cool.
Okay. So you can select these MCP server from the list provided. Otherwise, you can, if you know the MCP server, you're gonna ask, you can directly ask for that one. Let's say, I want Google News MCP server. Can you search about it? So it's searching for the particular MCP server. Yeah, now it's showing the MCP server available related to the Google News. Okay, so let's say we can, we want to install this one.
This is a long one. I want to watch
Install
Yeah, it's tight. It's
this one.
skill
Just
acquisition, and that's what this is called.
paste it here.
This guy built
So
skill
what now?
acquisition.
What we'll do is it will check whether this MCP server is already existing in our project. Otherwise, it's gonna add MCP server, new MCP server to our project. So now you can see the MCP server it installed itself, the Google News one.
Sick.
So you can get this error because the server restart itself because of adding new MCP server. So you can ignore this one. And now we can say, or you can ask.
Yeah, but why even write it to a file? You
Tell
should just
me about
big, you know?
recent news
I think that's stage
of
2.
For sure.
DeepMind.
All right, we'll see. We'll let this thing run, and then
So
we'll stop this thing a little early.
when I say this, it's gonna use a tool from the installed MCP server. So you can see
Sick.
it's called the
Yeah.
Google News Research News for the MCPs or regarding.
All right, that was cool.
Very good.
Okay, so let's talk about that just for a second while we pull up this next one. So skill acquisition's been something you and I have talked about a lot. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
That was great.
You had one comment. Why, maybe it's nice that it can be written to a file, but even better if it can just dynamically learn and then read some kind of config
Yeah.
somewhere else. But that's just an implementation.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, I don't know, dude. You missed it last week though. We had there's been a lot of great submissions here.
Yeah. I saw the one with scoring or scores. That was sick. You all know this is going in the template library, so like people can use it. This is even cooler, dude.
If you're watching this, you're gonna be able to just download and use these things.
Yeah.
I mean, you can run it locally. You can run it on Mastra Cloud. You can run it anywhere.
Like Khalil said, this is a cool idea. Yeah, dude, it is cool. You should like fork it and then try some other stuff on it.
Khalil actually also won an award, I think, during the first batch. So love to see it.
Yeah. And we'll talk about this. It doesn't end here. If you have more templates that aren't built yet, we don't have necessarily prizes available always, but we want to grow the library so others can learn from this stuff. So, all right, Ostromoth. Oh, wow, Ostromoth. All right, it's been a long day. Mastra template. It's a mouthful. Mothstra.
Okay, Shane woke up at like 4 a.m. today, so it's all good.
Well, I'm in Pacific time now, so it was 1:20 a.m. when I woke up.
Oh my God.
So we're going. Let's go.
Okay, so Bruce here to kind of demonstrate a little bit about what I built from an auth standpoint. So I'm going to start a quick demo. So basically, it's a ticketing system, right? Kind of looking at a help desk agent, and this is around auth. So does the agent have access to call a tool? Is what I'm trying to demonstrate. So in this case, I'm doing a get ticket, and so I'm looking up ticket 2, which is just an array right now of a database that the tool has. And so it's going to, and it's getting the ticket token. So it's authorizing the identity of the agent, and then it's assigning a token that lives for a period of time that shows the agent in process. So in this case, I was able to go out and get the auth token from a server that I've set up. And then that auth token was able to be used to be able to say, do you have access to pull the records from the specific tool? In this case, it's just bringing back all records. In the future, I can kind of get it to only bring back the one record. And now I'm going to simulate the similar thing of create a new ticket for needing soap in my hotel room. Okay. So similar kind of approach here, go out and authenticate the ticket. So fine, it's asking me for the title, description, or asking me for the description. No soap in the room. Okay, so then going out and get the create ticket is still needs to authenticate itself, and so it knew it had the token, and because of how I've set up the auth in the policy, which is another aspect of this, it was able to create the token on the back end. So I know I'm out of time, but README will have more information.
Sick. That was tight.
So the thing I like about that is it wasn't overly complicated, but we always have people asking about how, and there's more than one way to handle authentication, right? In this case, the agent is actually authenticating, to the service versus just like having authentication built in as like a key or something. But that's cool. I think people want examples of how different methods for using auth. And so that was one of the reasons we had the category. And I thought this was really good because it was just
super straightforward.
It was straightforward, simple, but easy to follow.
You don't need to worry about OAuth 1.2 and anything like that. It may not be that secure though. I'll be honest about that, but it is straightforward.
Yeah. I mean, well, can't vouch for that.
Yeah.
All right, so we have one for web browsing. This next one was in the web browsing category.
Sick. I bet you this one will be dope.
All right, let me share this. This one's available on YouTube. You can watch it here. It's unlisted, but we'll.
Hello, I'm Evgeny, and this is my master template, which is called Cookie Compliance Checker. It consists of 5 tools. 4 of them are copied from the existing official master template, which cover the basic stagehand actions for navigating to the web page, performing some actions, and extracting some data. And also added a 5th tool, which finds and clicks the accept cookies model. Now let's try this out. We will provide some web page, and what it will do, it will open a headless browser. As this is a dev mode, it opened actually a real browser, and it found a cookie model and clicked on accept and checked which cookies were set before and after clicking, and gave a compliance score. Here it outputted the cookies that were set before and after clicking, and also provided some recommendations. I hope this template will help out people who want to start a new master project.
Indeed it will, dude.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the cookie headers, but they are.
Yeah, we should merge that into the main template.
Yeah, they are. And yeah, that seems like a good example of just like browser use. So maybe that just becomes, rather than it's standalone, we just pull that in to the main thing. Because it just seems like a simple, really good example of what you might want to use with it. All right. We'll do one more here. And maybe two more. Yeah, one more. Then we'll do the awards. That's all we got time for. All right, one more here, and then we will give out the awards quickly, and then we got to continue on to the next segment. All right. This one is a rag template. 3 minutes.
Hi everyone. So this is my submission for the RAG template. So what I have done. So the problem we are trying to solve here is there are always ACL, access control list is always in place in the companies. But when it comes to the vector, we just put all the data talks into the DB and we get back, and anybody can query those, right? But there is no ACL within the vector space. So this is what I'm trying to do here. That, for example, if you go here, if you see, I have created like a few sample documents into my repository and certain rows. Now I'll show you. There is no template like this, and now I will go and start indexing. We have two workflows, one for indexing and one for actually querying the stuff. So if you see, it has been indexed, and if I go back here, and you can see we have this indexed. Now I go here. Now we have two different kind of roles here. One is HR, who has the maximum access, and others doesn't have. So if I go here and if I try this, it will run the workflow, and you will see that it gets the result back for its query, because this is the document which is available in the employee handbook. So the financial handbook. So it can access those documents. Just a second, let's see. It's generating the answer at the moment.
The demo.
And soon we will see verifying the answer. So all that in place, and you can see it's available. Now if I ask this question, which is available in the HR handbook, it will not. It will fail.
All right. I think we get the idea.
That was cool. ACLs.
Yeah, basically, so it's not just RAG, it's RAG with ACLs.
Mm-hmm. Just like the OSO concept that we saw.
Yeah, we chatted with OSO, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was similar types of ideas. And it's one of those things that, you start to design these systems and you don't think through like, okay, you got to figure out how you handle security, how you handle auth, how you handle who can access what. So I think it's a good example just as a way to understand who can access what documents or what chunks, I guess, in RAG. All right, let's go back to the awards. And we kind of buried the lead a little bit here, or we didn't. We kind of maybe had a little bit of a tell. Our poker face was not very good. So the best MCP server was the trading system that we saw that used recall. So congratulations on being named the best MCP server. Or I guess that was the first one we watched, right? The XRP, right?
Yeah.
The second one was the best use of Smithery template for agents that can dynamically discover, install, and use MCP. So that one was really cool. So you win a Nintendo Switch. Congrats. And I guess we got to say who. Maybe we should say the name of the person that actually.
Yeah, this was Aka, I think, who won this one. The next one who won the Switch is, I believe it's Srinivas. He won the best agent network use case as well last week, so he's on a roll.
Yeah. All right.
Making moves.
And you can see the GitHubs are at the bottom, and we will have all these will all make it to the templates page eventually. The best use of auth, we only showed one. The agent authentication system, and didn't. What was this person's name? They won last week too.
Yeah, Bruce also did the Internet of Things implementation last week as well. So we got some I don't know, hard hitters. Yeah.
Hey, some of these people are cleaning up the prizes. The best use of web browsing was the cookie compliance checker. that one is good enough. As Abhi said, we should just maybe add that to our example because it's a really good, basic use case that I think everyone can kind of relate to. So who did this one?
I am gonna butcher the pronunciation, but I think it's Yevgeny, something like that. So sorry, but congrats also.
Congratulations. All right. Best rag was the governed rag templates with the ACLs.
Cool.
So, and did this person win last week as well? Or maybe
yes, he did. No, he did. We have so many reviews.
Yeah.
But they're making templates. They're churning them out every week.
Yeah, I mean, keep them coming.
Congrats.
The best crypto agent was the XRP first one that we saw. So that one was the 7-minute one. That video was great. We didn't get to watch the whole thing, but who was the?
That was Florent, and Shane. I know we were discussing how to do future prizes to international contributors. So I'm like, maybe this is the way. Just make it easy.
Yeah, maybe we one of the things we've struggled is how do we get prizes to people, and so we're like, we just need to send them stable coins and so that we'll figure that out, but I think that might be the way. All right, and the best overall, this one's from last week. So there's this AI storyboard generator. You can go back last week and watch the video. If you dig into the code, it's just pretty sick, all the complexity. I mean, I think there's like a dozen tools, 2 different workflows, 4 or 5 different agents. So it's a really complex and really well thought out. And this one just, we all kind of talked about it, but this one hit home with me because I've tried to solve this problem myself and getting consistent characters across generations. It mixes in agents for like creating a story as well as image generation models. So just a really well done template that if you want to start with like a storyboard creator or storybook creator, it's a really good starting spot.
Dude, it's just like Slack notifications using Zapier. Like
exports to a PDF. I mean, it writes a PDF file. I mean, there's like it integrates with a whole bunch of different services, and it's just pretty complex and well done.
I would say it's really good teaching. If you're trying to learn, it does everything you want to like get adept at in a really fun way.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Srinivas winning his 3rd prize. He really cleaned up.
Dude. All right. Well, so as we said, there's awarded prizes. There's a whole bunch of raffles that we don't have time to announce today, but check your email. We will send them to you. There's a whole bunch of raffle prizes. Yeah, Abhi, you can hold that up. Everyone get that submitted gets one of these. There's a whole bunch of other prizes that Shrita's going to be emailing in your inbox. So even if you didn't win now, you might still win one of these cool prizes. Shrita, what were some of the other prizes?
Oh my gosh, I think Scrimba was giving out like 10 free memberships.
That's it.
I think we have the AI engineering, gospel Bible book that we're giving away. A mechanical keyboard, which honestly, huge level up. Some really good stuff. Oh, and a Raspberry Pi, like lots of good stuff out there.
Yeah, so keep your, if you did submit and you didn't win anything yet, you might still win something. So, check your email. Oh, here they are.
Here they are.
And so you have the names. Okay.
Yeah, I did put them in. Yeah, but I'll email them. We don't need to read all of these.
Yeah. But if you're watching and you see your name here, you won.
Congrats!
Congratulations! Thanks for
some familiar names too.
Shrita, you put this slide together between when I got in the Uber and when I got here.
Yeah, I did.
Nice. We do things professionally around here. We're very well prepared. We do it well in advance. That's how we roll.
Yeah, we're so fucking prepared and professional.
All right. But we couldn't have done this without our judges, which we talked about earlier, as well as our sponsors. So want to thank Recall, thank Smithery, thank Scrimba. We couldn't have done this, the last 3 weeks without them. So really appreciate all that they've done. If you haven't checked them out, please do. If you're into crypto, you want to run like competitions for agents, Recall is really cool. Smithery, if you're using MCP, you should know what Smithery is. And then, if you want to just level up your skills, check out Scrimba.
Check it out.
All right. And then, just our stuff. We don't need to talk about that anymore. We did it. We got through
in good time. We did it.
We did it.
Not bad. We're only 6 minutes behind schedule. That's not too bad.
Doing pretty good.
All right, I'll bounce. Good seeing y'all. People, please continue submitting templates. Like, we'd love to feature them in our community's library.
Yeah, and you will see, it will be live soon that we will have community templates from last week and this week up on the Mastra Templates page. So that should be live this afternoon, in the next couple hours, and we'll have some of them live, and we'll be rolling out a lot of them. Even if you didn't win an award, your template might still be featured. So we do have pretty high bar, but we're trying to take as many as we can to get them listed on the templates page.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
See you, Shrita. All
right, dude. Man, those templates.
Dude, it's a game changer, I think.
Yeah, we need to do more hackathons.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're in the chat, this is live. We have, so Adam says, I'm only seeing 5 templates available. Is this right? Unfortunately, right now, Adam, that's right. But in about an hour or two from now, when I can hit this merge button, when the build succeeds, then we'll have, I think, like 12 templates. And then we'll be adding more. So any that you saw today haven't been added to that list, they'll get added. So we'll be adding, our goal is to have, a good amount of templates. So if you're getting started, you can learn from examples, and they'll be there soon.
This one right here?
Yeah, did the build pass?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna merge this thing now, and so by the time we're done talking to Cedar, the templates will be live.
I merged it. Hit the green button.
All right. And Khalil says yes, USDT would work for sending internationally. That's probably what we're gonna do. Adam also said, when is the next hackathon? We don't know. We did one about 2 months ago. We did one now. So that seems to be approximately the cadence. So we will be hopefully having another one in the next couple months. Do you want to answer this one, Abby?
Tomorrow.
We're
releasing V5 model support tomorrow in vNext, or generate and stream vNext. Stay tuned. A lot of cool shit happening tomorrow.
Tomorrow's going to be a big day.
A lot of shit releasing tomorrow and this week, actually. So if you are interested in our telemetry, that's being improved. Man, scores, you're going to be able to run those in CI, V5 support, Mastra stream format. So much shit, dude, honestly.
Yeah, it's a big day tomorrow.
Yeah.
So keep your, pay attention to the release, I guess.
It's going to be a shit show, though, I'll be honest.
It's going to be a busy release.
Be
when we have this many moving parts, our Tuesdays are literally just like scrambling to get the release over the finish line. It's like all hands on deck, get those final PRs in. If you didn't know, obviously, as we're talking, every Tuesday we have a release, and that's when all the new stuff comes out in the framework. Khalil wants more hackathons. We will.
He's only saying that because he's winning.
Yeah, he's like, keep paying me. He's racking up the wins here. All the money. All right, we're gonna move to our next segment here, and we're gonna bring on some guests, some friends of the Mastras, friends of the show. We're gonna bring on Cedar. So, what's up?
Hey,
hello, how's it going?
hello, friends. How you doing?
Good. How are you all?
Fantastic.
You're really good.
Fantastic. Pretty excited to show everyone what's up.
Yeah, well, maybe just a quick introduction. Obviously, we know you. We chat all the time, but most of the people watching maybe don't. So
Yeah, so I'm Jesse. This is Isabel, my co-founder, and what we're building is Cedar OS, which is a framework for building basically agentic frontends, or the front-end layer. We work really well in Mastra, obviously, that really focuses on like transparency and control for devs. So like for people who are building really like ambitious, complex AI native applications. And what we're excited to show you today is like something we pulled together using Cedar OS. That's like an AI native email, just to show some of the power and what we think the future of software really looks like.
yeah,
Dude, sick.
yeah. We definitely want to see that. So. Yeah, for background, we were in YC together, right? So, and then we've obviously stayed in touch, and so you've I would say that many of the improvements in Mastra, at least quite a few, have come from feedback constructive feedback from you. So we do appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely anxious to see what you've all been cooking over there, because I know I've seen some demos, but obviously most people watching probably haven't.
Yeah. Let's do it. So we actually cooked this up in like 1.5 days, which hopefully shows some of the power and reason why we're so excited about Cedar OS. But you want to take it away?
Yeah, let's do it. So I guess we'll just show the demo, and if the demo gods are with us, we can then talk through it.
Just zoom in a bit.
Yeah, is it possible to do one zoom? Click a zoom? I don't know if you tested that with the browser. You never know.
We'll see what happens. All right. Draft your response to this email.
That's cool.
Yeah, so if that wasn't clear to you, we have a Mastra agent, and we'll show you the code, the source code. Everything's open source in this case. That will go and has several tool calls. So one is like checking your calendar for available times. One is actually checking who you're talking to. In this case, it's Avery, and then drafting an email specific to them, right? And what's really cool and what we believe is like really important for the future of software and AI native software is the ability to actually review and accept and see what the AI changed. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and accept the draft. The other thing that we sort of believe at Cedar OS is that a lot of AI native tools and workflows should be kicked off without the user really having to go into a chat box and type out an entire response, even if there's really convenient things like chat, right? So if I close the chat, I actually have access to some pretty powerful tools. For example, I can, on a hotkey, bind several really common email responses, right? And each of them can have their own custom prompt, their own master workflow, or any of these sort of special behind-the-scenes magic that needs to happen, right? So in this case, the 4 most common emails is like a polite rejection that I might send, a follow-up, maybe a thank you. And in this case, I can actually just sort of reschedule the meeting again, and it'll pop out. And what's cool is I might say, hey, this isn't really what I sound, right? Like I usually write a lot shorter emails, or maybe I know that Avery likes shorter emails. Another thing I can do is actually say, hey, let me generate, let me rewrite this email to be like smaller or shorter, right? And so in this case, I'm going to rewrite the email just to be like a tad bit shorter. And what that's going to do is kick off a sort of spell, or what we call a spell, that runs an AI workflow and then redrafts an email. And I can accept it and say, hey, this is like a much shorter email that's way more concise and clear to the point that took my original draft and rewrote it, right? And at this point, we just love to show you how we built all of this. But if you have any questions or anything, feel free to let us know.
So in this case, right, like you're building this, at the fundamental piece, it's like you're controlling a text area, right? And so it's not necessarily just email commands. Do this on any page.
Yeah, exactly. So we have different, we have a variety of different applications and uses, right? Like for example, one thing that's really popular, I know Mastra has like a Canvas workflow. Some of our people who use Cedar OS, we actually can generate like nodes on a canvas that they can accept and reject, or actually change like options or checkboxes too, right?
So then the user here is the AI engineers building their products, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
They need this interaction.
Yeah, exactly. We built everything. We're a framework for developers to use to build this sort of front-end connection to their powerful agents, right?
Yeah.
And we're happy. Let's dive into the code and show you guys like exactly how we built it.
Cool.
And then and we'll first go through like a quick high-level architecture diagram, and then show you like how we actually built it with Cedar OS, right? So basically, what Cedar is it lives in the layer between a React application and a backend agent, right? And we love Mastra and we use Mastra all the time. So in this case, our agent will be Mastra, right? Khalil,
Can you zoom just a touch more? I know you might have to scroll sideways. Just a little bit more. Perfect. And yeah, Khalil has a question. Does it use front end tools? And maybe you're going to answer this.
Yeah. So in terms of front end tools, we're mainly for React. The only tool we actually really use consistently is Stand. And there's like
tools like. Do you mean tools like state changes?
Yeah, Khalil. I'm assuming you mean like browser tool, like tools in the browser. Do you use like browser client side tools?
Like injecting something in the text area is like a client side tool, I guess.
Like to change the state that we're looking at.
Yeah, like this. That's usually, I think that's what he's asking, right?
Yeah, I think that's what he's asking. Maybe you can confirm, Khalil, if that's what you're asking. But I'm assuming you're meaning, you do something and then actually changes state on the client itself.
Yeah, so we actually define like a custom event that can be streamed from your backend to your front end that can be actually fed to your master agent in the backend like a regular tool. And then in the front end, it'll actually just like make the corresponding state change that you register like via a hook.
Yeah. I think like Khalil, feel free to like. Yeah, exactly. The front end actually handles it. Yeah, exactly. So the agent is the one calling the tool. What we do at the front end is sort of manage a few things that really helps the agent work, right? So one thing is, at a high level, what we're doing is we're registering React states so that the agent can actually see local states, right? Mm-hmm. So that if you're in an email app, for example, the email app agent actually sees that, hey, this is the email we have open. It says like meeting request for a project, right? Let me zoom in. Yeah. Right. And then we also can sort of give developers tools to really control what context they want to pass in to the agent. And then what Cedar does on the other side is once we're sort of streaming those events back, we can handle the response and have it set local state or render the message, right? And we provide you all the tools to sort of give you the customizability.
Dude, this is sick.
Render everything. So you can define your own protocols and your own ways to render everything.
Like I could make an extension that works on top of Google Sheets, right? I don't have to I could build my own shit, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I have the browser context and I can do whatever I want through your tool or your connection here.
Yeah, exactly. If you have an application, we sort of give you the ability for the agent to do whatever a real user would be able to do and like more. Right?
Oh, and that's so then like you can just make something AI native by just adding these interactions to your application.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And if you go back to
my money.
So like these kind of layers right here of handling the response and rendering the message are fully customizable in the sense that you can actually just, like Jesse said, define your own protocol completely for how you want your backend and front end to talk. Like I could be like random object of type foo and then like have it, and then when the backend receives that object, Cedar will pass it through to whatever like renderer or handler that you define for them. So that's kind of what we did in the demo with all the different tool calls and stuff.
And I think what might be really useful is just showing how easy it is to sort of start building something and start making AI native applications, right? So here, the first thing is really easy. You just define a provider. So we support, OpenAI, AI SDK, and obviously Mastra, where you can just define your base Mastra URL. In this case, we just have a local host. And then what you can do is wherever you have, a local state, you can go in and actually just register it to the Cedar state, right?
Yeah, can you zoom just a little bit more?
Yeah. Is this better? Is this better?
Kind of, I guess. Maybe a little bit more.
More?
Yeah, I think zooming more. Close that.
I think that's good.
That's good. That's good.
All right, perfect. Yeah. So as you can see, one thing we really do is we make sure like it's really easy to plug into existing applications, right? So here I sort of already have an existing state. And what we can do is we can say, hey, let's register the state so that the AI agent can actually like see it. So the Mastra agent can actually see what the state is, right? And this way, once we register the email draft, the AI agent now can have access to like what the draft actually contains, so that we can run something like rewrite draft to be more concise, and it just knows what you're talking about, right? So we're really helping the user like manage the context in this case.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to go through the stuff?
So kind of more like on the back end of what's happening with the streaming and the events that we were talking about. So we're actually using Mastra's new stream vNext method, and basically opening a stream via voice from the front end to the back end to stream back all of these things like tool results, like these master event types, right? Like starting a step, tool call, tool result, and these kinds of things. And then what we do is we basically will stream these back as just like a JSON object of like, in this case, we directly forward what the Mastra agent streams, but we can also define our own custom events, right? Like we can define, for example, I want to send back a progress event update, and it's going to look like this. And then what our front end does is Cedar will actually handle forwarding those to the right places, and we can do cool things like, for example, define custom message types and custom message renderers for something like a tool result in Mastra. And all of this is just a couple lines of code. And so what you guys see in the UI of all the different tool results is actually just us listening for Mastra vNext streams of type tool result and then deciding how we want to render them accordingly in the front end. Yeah.
Yeah. So we sort of handle, in this case, Cedar OS handles all of like the complexity of like streaming and chunking, so that when you're streaming objects, you don't have to worry about like a half-formed object coming in. You can just listen to like complete objects, but also stream chunks of text straight to the chat, right?
Or like audio, like streaming audio blobs for it to say.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so we sort of handle all of the like nasty, complex parts while giving you the control of like the end result, which is like, you don't have to worry about, you can go into the runtime since we're using Zustand, but you don't have to, and you can still define your custom types of messages without conforming to like a protocol or a data structure that doesn't fit your particular backend, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When you have local state like that too, you could send that to like Mastra's working memory.
Exactly.
Because JSON serializable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we basically just open a stream where you can just like serialize and send in whichever direction. Resumable stream. We haven't implemented suspend and resume yet, but it is like a natural extension of what we already have. It would just be like those specific event types.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna come up. We'll have resumable streams built into Mastra, so that'll just be a thing in the future, as well as the stream vNext y'all are using will essentially be like have more data in it. You could listen to more things. So.
Yeah. But like I really like the working memory idea, because one thing we can do is, for example, look at like how the state is changing to figure out what the user is trying to do, and create AI agents that are like proactive in a way that like maybe it can tell that you just ran into an error with like a local state, or that you're changing the state in certain ways and sort of autocomplete things for you, or actively say, hey, are you running into this issue here? Like we actually know how to solve it, right?
Yeah.
And we think that's like one of the next steps for AI agents, which is like to become proactive in like within a human workflow.
Yeah, it's almost like you're trying to like, we're all like, the current web is still web 2.0 like shit.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just want AI capabilities on things that already exist.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is through extensions and, you know, kind of client-side control. So I think this makes 100% sense.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely operate on the principle of having AI like deeply integrated into the UI rather than like constrained to a chat window only. And so like one thing that actually is super powerful about Mastra is the ability to define standalone like workflows that can be plugged into directly. And so like, for example, in the little menu that Jesse showed, like each of those plugs directly into a master workflow that we just call an endpoint for. And then it's like these kind of modular, really powerful functionalities that you can plug straight into your UI without having to like ask the agent exactly what you need it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that ability to just have a really well-designed UI that a button click basically leads to a workflow, and then you maybe stream results of that, of course, in different ways. That's a pretty powerful, especially when you get beyond just the chat interface, which I think is where people are starting to get to now. They're thinking beyond what does AI besides just the chat interface look like?
Yeah, like I definitely think that like right now AI interfaces are sort of at the level of like what terminal mainframes used to be.
Yeah.
And that like a lot of what we're building is like, hey, how do we like bring the GUI to the AI, right? Like how do we break out of the chat box, whether through voice or more interactive UI within the chat, or just like direct state changes or like workflows that are executed in different ways.
Yeah, it's like I want to tab complete everything. You know
yeah.
No, tab complete is one that we were thinking about a lot of just like, what if you could we give tools to just add that to like any UI?
We were talking about those yesterday. Like, I just want to tab everything. Sometimes I catch myself tabbing shit that doesn't actually tab.
yeah.
It's like, why isn't it working?
No, I want to like cursor. I want to like cursor everything too. Like,
cursor everything.
Like they need to add a copilot to like everything. AWS.
We should just make that our tagline.
Everything.
Cursor everything.
Yeah. Cursor for everything, for sure.
Yeah, but that is sort of what we're doing, right? Like we're helping people who have VS Code turn their software into Cursor, right?
Yeah. So are you all working with companies already? Like who are the targets here? Like people building copilots and stuff right now?
Yeah, so we're already working with like a decent amount of customers. We're like helping them implement. But the reason we really open sourced was we realized that like the best AI native software of the future is going to be really deeply embedded and have these interactions that we can't manually build for everyone.
Yeah.
And so we really wanted to give people control, right? And so for example, like even our chat, what we do is we take the Shadcn approach and we let you just download a chat and you own the entire component and you own everything. So you can customize the styling or the actual like features inside at a level, as well as like architectural decisions of like, hey, like instead of having a proprietary like or like runtime that's like hidden, we use Zustand, right? So if you wanted to go override an internal function, you really could in like a single line. And like what we're really trying to do is enable people building like the most ambitious AI native software of the future and making sure that they don't hit like a ceiling of like what's possible just because they use Cedar.
Yeah, because you need to capture the UX of today, but you also need the UX of tomorrow. Like that has to be inside it as it's being. Like we always talk, research equals production, right? So what is the UX research that needs to exist in production today? I would start. I mean, we get this all the time because people try to integrate Mastra with their own UIs and stuff.
Yeah,
and like what they really want is this Shadcn type of thing.
Yeah.
That has all the patterns. Like, I'm trying to do this one thing. They just want to copy that shit. You know, they don't want to actually work on it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we're huge fans of Shadcn. Like, I just think this is like the best way to do things. Like this also allows us to build like really complex like workflows, right? Like or like components and give them to the user. Like for example, if you just download our like floating Cedar chat, which is the chat we showed. You have stuff like all of these inputs, you have voice already pre-configured. And it's sort of okay. Like we're happy to give you all of that for free because we know that if you don't want it, you can just delete it, right? And so we get to give way more complex sort of pre-built workflows with all of these features without having to really worry about like customizability or extensibility.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome about Zustand as well. Is like it's literally like coding inside our package is like almost the same as coding outside of it because like there's no layer of weird logic that's happening that's a black box. Like you see exactly what happens inside the package. So it really is like as we implement for customers, we will like do something different in their code base by like overriding our package and also go implement it in our package. So like these types of open source contributions and that kind of thing is like one of our main motivations for it.
I don't think there's a clear winner in this space yet.
Yeah.
No.
At all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be one of those things where there's people need to see all the different possibilities and then figure out like what works best for what UI and UX experience they actually want to build. So Spacework has we're clicking the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so Spacework says, as a CTO of a CRM company that's using Mastra for the last few months, I'm a new client for sure. Just exploring your docs as we speak.
Hey,
so,
you
cool.
got a new customer.
Yeah, so we
Awesome.
Yeah, feel free to reach out if you want to chat about anything.
So this is what we got. You can reach out, go to cedarcopilot.com. There's the open source repo. Any other way people should reach out?
Yeah. So we have a Discord channel. We have like right now sub 5-minute response times there. So we really love people using it. We're really excited by this entire space. So feel free to join the Discord or email either of us. It's just jesse@cedarcopilot.com. And we'll be responsive. We're really, really responsive and really excited about people building like what we think is the future of software, right?
Yeah. Well, it was great having you on.
Yeah.
Any kind of closing words before we sign off and move on to the next segment?
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Well, first, really big thanks for having us on
Thanks
here.
so much for your time.
We're huge Mastra fans.
I'll see you in New York, right?
Yes,
And
we will be in New York.
Yeah, and Spacework Dev, I don't know how to reach, but would love to hop on a call with you too. So how can we chat?
Yeah, I mean, so Spacework Dev is going to be in the YouTube chat. So if you go to the Mastra YouTube, you could follow up there.
Okay.
Otherwise, Spacework Dev, I don't know if you're in the Mastra Discord. Otherwise, just drop into, send Jesse an email, Jesse at Cedar Copilot.
Discord link?
Yeah, we're gonna hop on the chat as viewers, I guess, and then
We'll put our Discord link.
Discord
I don't know why
link
it
and
doesn't
everything.
work on our website, but we'll fix that.
Yeah, we had the hardest time. Our Discord kept timing
Same
out,
shit.
and we had to get a permanent link. And then even still, like sometimes the Discord link works, and you have to, but the user's actually authentication token has expired. So if you click on the Discord link and it doesn't work, it's possible that it's like a user issue too. That
Yeah.
it's Discord links
It's
are kind
Adam
of
Burns' problem, dude.
it could be Adam. Like I don't know, but I would.
we'll generate a new one and then send
Yeah,
it.
like it is a weird, like Discord links kind of suck. It's been a revolving nightmare for us as well, just trying to keep an active join Discord link going.
Oh my god!
But all right,
It's gonna be so
Trying.
good.
Jesse, Isabel, it's great chatting with you, and yeah,
Thanks so much
we'll
for your
talk to you all soon.
See you
Thanks for having us on. See you soon.
Peace.
Peace.
Dude, we're going to play Matchmaker today with
Yeah.
users and products, you know?
Yeah. All right, yeah, we got a bunch of comments, but we got to the show must keep going on. We will try to get some of these questions answered if you are here. We see all the comments. So if you're watching this on LinkedIn, YouTube, X, drop some comments. We'll answer it along the way. But we are going to go ahead and move on to Security Corner. We haven't done this for a while, so we're going to bring in our friend Allie, and we're going to talk security.
What up?
Hey Shane, hey Avi.
What's up, Allie?
How's it going?
Nothing much. How are you?
Chilling.
Yeah, I'm in SF. I'm a little tired, but I'm still here. It's a good
Nice.
day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I heard you flew in today. Is there a time difference between where you live and SF?
It's 2 hours, but it's
Okay.
unfortunately not a direct flight for me. So it was a big, quite decent sized layover this morning. But either way, the show must go on.
Yeah.
We're here for some Security Corner. I'm excited. I'm ready to learn something. So what do you have in store today for us, Allie?
Yeah, so today I'm kind of fresh off of Black Hat DEF CON in Las Vegas, I think like a week and a half ago now. A lot of companies come there and demonstrate a bunch of interesting security research that they've been working on for a while and launch it there. So a lot of companies were able to do that. I actually got to demo an insecure agent myself, which we talked about actually last Security Corner, Finbot, which was vulnerable to goal manipulation, which was really fun. I think since then, OWASP has released an agentic top 10 draft. So we have the top 10 for LLMs of the top 10 security things you'd be most concerned about. And now we have a top 10 specifically for agents, which is in draft. So happy to touch on that. And there's actually a really good example of one of those, which is the remote code execution, which you found a really good example of that on Twitter that we could talk about. And there's also some research from Black Hat I'd love to speak on too.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're OWASPers soon.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to? Can you pull it up? Do you have a link we can look through and talk through the top 10?
Yes.
Dude, I met the dude who runs OWASP when I was in DEF CON or whatever, and he knows Zach Erlocker.
All right.
Which is
shout
tight.
Shout out to Zach.
Shout out Zach, our old CEO and mentor. And small world, dude. That's all I have to say. Small fucking world. Oh, it was also on Allie's podcast over there.
Yeah. What's your podcast, Allie? Shout it out.
Oh, yeah. So our podcast is called Insecure Agents. We have insecureagents.com is our domain. You can find us there. But if you also just search Insecure Agents on Spotify, you'll find us. And we're also on LinkedIn and Twitter.
All right. Insecureagents.com. Because everyone needs more good quality content. And that if you're interested in security.
Dude, it's a crossover. The crossover episode coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for your episode. It's going to be awesome. Super great to talk about like everything that's going on in Mastra and how you are thinking about security. Well, cool. So I think you guys can see the top 10 draft, right?
We can.
Cool. So yeah, we're trying to narrow down to like 10, but we've got like, I think 16 or so at the moment. And we're trying to target a date of like end of October-ish to have these out. But one of these, which I think is probably a high likelihood of making into the final top 10, is unexpected remote code execution. So this commonly happens when some sort of prompt injection hits our agent, and then the agent is able to execute attacker-defined code. This also can look like, code hallucination, where an agent generates malicious or exploitable code. So I think one example that you found of that, I think I had to stop sharing and share again to find the tab, but yeah, you found a really good example of that online. Let's see.
Allie's giving me a lot of credit. I saw the thread and I was like, hey, would this be interesting to talk about? I'm not a security expert, but you are. But I'll take it as a good sign that you thought it was worthwhile to talk about. So, sometimes the X streams or the X posts my feed does me right, and it did it right today.
I'm getting a lot more security stuff in my feed now.
You went to one conference.
I know.
You're in it.
Yeah, now you're definitely in the InfoSec Twitter realm for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this was a really great example. So this person is talking about a remote code execution in GitHub Copilot, where he just sends a simple prompt injection, which is what's happening in this video. It gets the agent to go into YOLO mode, which is what happens with this experimental feature called chat auto approve, like all the tools, and gets the agent to open a calculator, which is pretty benign, but you could get it to read a secrets file, send a secrets file, do malicious things as well. So I think the moral of the story here is just the fact that whatever your agent is connected to determines the surface area that you have to worry about in terms of like different attacks. And the more things you are connected to, the less locked down they are, the more you are opening yourself up to potential prompt injections like this. And anytime where you have sort of this like lethal trifecta, which is something that Simon Willison came up with, which I think is a really great and simple way to illustrate this. And he talks about the lethal trifecta is access to sensitive data, ability to externally communicate, and access to untrusted content. So like the prompt injections would be like the untrusted content. Your sensitive data would be like these code files. Ability to externally communicate would be sending whatever secrets or whatever was exfiltrated via like whatever the remote code execution did, like off to an attacker somewhere. So thinking about those 3 pillars and that lethal trifecta, I think is really important. I think there's a lot of noise out there right now about securing AI agents, but if you just want to like simplify it down to those 3 pillars of untrusted content, sensitive data, and ability to externally communicate, and you start thinking that way, then you can start modeling your agent, which I really recommend you do, especially early on when you're planning out building your agent and architecting it. What you connect it to and how you connect it to those things plays a big role. I know we like MCP servers and stuff a lot, and there could be tool poisoning and the different tool descriptions and MCP tool servers, and also just like different data sources you connect your agent to and how much permissions you give it is something to think about as well. And again, the research that I saw at Black Hat that really caught my attention that also continues to illustrate this is the research that Zenity came out with. Zenity has been notorious for coming up with like really interesting, impactful research, and they were actually really one of the research they released last year at Black Hat, and they did it again this year with a bunch of different examples that they showed. One of them was this customer service agent that I think McKinsey and Co. Had built via Microsoft's Copilot Studio program. Zenity created a replica of this and started to attack it. So essentially what happens here is this customer service agent is attached to an email inbox and listens to incoming emails, and it's also connected to Salesforce. They were able to send an email that contained various prompt injections, and here's an example of what one of those looked like, to that email inbox. The agent reads that email, and then sends the attacker whatever they requested. So in this one, they're asking for customer support account owners.csv. And so that's one of the knowledge sources that this agent had access to. And that agent willingly sends that over to the attacker. And then the attacker doesn't stop there. They realize that, okay, this agent is connected to Salesforce and sends another prompt injection and asks for every single account in that Salesforce account. And the agent ends up sending the entire CRM. And so you get literally every single account, their website or their personal information, like who they are, everything that's related to that CRM. So like that's not ideal, obviously. And so one of the big call outs here that Zenity makes is, maybe we shouldn't have this agent listening on every single email that comes into this inbox. Maybe we should only allow it to read emails that come from certain individuals, and not just anyone that has this email address, because of course everybody gets spam. Your email is pretty much public information, even though we don't want them to be. And so attackers can use that to exfiltrate or basically insert prompt injections into your AI agent. So scoping your agent down, making sure it's not connected to more external data sources, external users than is needed, that can help mitigate your risk here. But of course, also like looking into some sort of like guardrails to watch out for incoming prompt injections, that would be of use here too. Definitely not like a one size fits all solution. It's definitely a defense in depth problem. But taking that extra minute to look at how you are connecting your agent to different data sources and making sure that it's only connected to what it needs, and adding some of those like guardrails in place can have a really impact to your AI security posture. So if you've got any questions on how to do that, happy to answer that here too.
Do you think that people would be 70% safe if they just put some basic guardrails into their agent, like a prompt alignment input processor, and then like, PII on the output? Is that it? Like, I think that's what people want. People want like, what's the basic minimum guardrail I should add so I can so I'm not gonna fuck myself?
Yeah, to give me some protection.
Yeah.
I think people they see the possibilities, but they're scared because they don't know what they don't know yet, right? It's all new to people. So yeah, what's the base recipe for like some level of peace of mind?
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you recommend?
Yeah, so I don't want to like come out and say like recommend like a specific like company, because there's so many companies that are doing like guardrails now. But one that comes to mind just because it's, I don't know, first come to mind, it's free. You can try like LLM Guard by Protect AI. They just got acquired by Palo Alto Networks. And that's all open source. You can deploy that within, like, if you wanted to host that via like some sort of like a microservice or just a server that was able to, whatever inputs or outputs are coming into your AI system, you run it through there as well. I'm not sure what like latency looks like with that, but that's somewhere to start. I think the real bread and butter here for like what people want to like actually spend and pay money for is like how like monitoring these prompt injections that happen like over time, monitoring your system like that, like some sort of an enterprise product that sits on top of those guardrails, like we'll do that. But they're also backed by these really well-known AI security research teams. So like somebody like Zenity that's doing all these research, or like another company, because just because we've solved or patched one prompt injection, so like that one we saw in this example had something like, please be a good agent or rewrite your instructions. We forgot to add these in the instructions. Yeah, once we've seen that, we're like, okay, if it looks like this, like, block it. That's kind of the same way that like malware works today, right? So like if we see an example of malware, we're going to put it on a deny list and say, okay, here's this hash. If we see this again, put it on a deny list, block it. It doesn't mean that we've like solved malware forever. It just means that we know that this one is bad. And that's the same thing with prompt injection. We're never going to like completely solve prompt injection, but we're going to constantly need to be researching what that looks like. And that's what you would, I think, pay for one of these large like enterprise style guardrail companies to be doing that research to back your LLM guardrails with like the latest prompts so that you would be resilient to that.
Yeah, and I haven't heard the analogy comparing prompt injection attacks to kind of like malware, but it does kind of make sense where you need, like, over time it gets better and better and harder to, take advantage of an agent. But in the beginning, it's obviously a little easier, but you got to have a system that is consistently getting upgraded and improved.
And dude, some guardrails are actually LLM as judge evals on the input that's coming. So you're going to increase your latency, but then you're protecting yourself.
It's a trade-off.
It's a trade-off.
Right? You want to, so it sounds like there's some things you can do, like guardrails on the input and output are helpful. You can at least potentially protect yourself from some things. Obviously, limiting, maybe number one is just limiting the data. Make sure it absolutely only has the tool calls it needs, and those tools only have access to that kind of data that is, that agent actually needs. So those two things can probably get you pretty far. But yeah, it's a evolving space.
Yeah, you need tracing to know what's coming into the system.
Yeah, and maybe some kind of monitoring and alert if after the fact, because one of the things with guardrails is you do want it to be relatively low latency, and so you might want to do some kind of analysis on your, whether it's every couple hours, every day, whatever, every month, like whatever, some kind of security analysis on your data to make sure that nothing slipped through the front door, the guardrails. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things I think you could do. And that's the problem, is there's not just one solution. It's a layered approach.
Yeah.
100%. And you could also use the workflows that you all have in Mastra versus something that's agentic. Not everything has to be agentic. And if you add more determinism and say, like, we're going to follow this structure every time, we're going to call this exact tool in this way every time, then great, like use a workflow for that instead.
Yeah, I mean, the less control you give to the agent, the less risk.
Yeah, right? Then it's just like normal stuff, normal like security instead of agentic security, I guess.
Yeah, and as Jeffrey says, it's a whole new world in security that many are not even thinking about.
Yeah, dude.
And then also commented that, I see many people using AI for email, which is crazy considering how much info is available through email.
Yeah, dude, your account IDs and all types of shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of promise, but also definitely a lot of risk.
I have a weird hot take. I feel like the people working in security are like, they're working more on security problems than the agents themselves. And then you get the people building agents are not working on security, but they're working on agents more. You know what I mean? And like both sides need to come together and actually do some shit together, because the people we talk to that are customers, they don't give a fuck about security. They do, but they don't actually, because they would have done something by now. They're just kind of waiting and seeing if there's some solution that's going to solve all their problems before they hit production.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are, months into a big project, and they're getting close, but they haven't really thought through the ramifications yet.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these projects end up getting delayed, at the last minute because of some of these things. They realize that, they get some really deep levels of testing, they start writing evals, and they're like, this thing is pretty fickle and can be leaned and tilted in certain ways depending on how prompts come in. So they end up, having to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out like, how do we help that and make sure that doesn't happen? And it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Allie. Well, I think we're probably going to move on to the next segment, but is this still the best way to reach you? You're on X, VTA How on X.
Yes. Thank you. That is the best way to reach me for sure.
Make sure to check out the Insecure Agents podcast. If you care more about the security stuff, you want to learn more, please reach out to Allie. Check out that podcast.
Check out OWASP.
Yeah, OWASP, which, someday I'll learn what it does. But until then, I lean on Abby and Allie to tell me. And
I infiltrated OWASP.
You did. Yeah, you remember.
We're going to be OWASPers. So
all right.
Check them out.
If you say so.
We are. We're in the process.
All right, Allie. Appreciate you coming on. And we'll chat with you next time.
See you next time.
See you. Thank you.
Well-rounded podcast so far. Live stream so far. We got UI stuff. We had templates.
Yeah.
Security.
Yeah, speaking of that, if this is live, you might be listening to this live, but a lot of people listen after the fact or watch. So if you are watching this or listening, make sure to go to YouTube, subscribe, give us a subscribe, like the video. That helps.
Yep.
If you are an audio only person, some of the stuff is better when you can see it, I would say, but some of it you can get value, especially when we talk about news and just have conversations just on the audio. So if you want go to Apple Podcasts, go to Spotify, which I guess Spotify has video.
Yeah.
But
the downside of the audio only is you haven't seen how my mustache has progressed. So
so
you're just missing out on that.
So if you are listening to this in the future, you got to you got to see the live video. How else are you going to comment on his mustache?
Yeah, seriously, dude.
All right. We're going to try to rapid fire some news.
Let's do it.
And there's a lot today. And if we don't get through all of it before Dan gets here, we can come back and finish up a little bit at the end. Because, there's a lot of things to talk about. And you weren't here last week, so we want to cover it all.
I got a lot of hot takes today, too. I'm feeling some type of way about our news.
All right. So first of all, this one, I don't need to share the screen on this one. We didn't talk about GPT-5. I didn't talk about it with you. I talked about it last week.
I can't wait to talk about this shit.
It was, kind of me solo. So I gave a few hot takes, but I would love, I have some comments from people on our team, developers that I interact with. But I've also seen some extremely high praise for GPT-5 online. And so I'm just curious, what's your take on GPT-5?
If I go missing after this, know.
Oh, no.
Dude, I think it was a big flop. I think both the announcement. Okay, well, I will say OpenAI is very good at marketing. They have very good. They got good taste.
Good product taste too.
Very good product taste. Love that. Except this is one of those launches where I didn't feel the taste there. It was tasteless. It seemed more hype. The graphs didn't fucking make sense. And if you're gonna put graph, dude, it has to make sense. Otherwise, your whole presentation gets destroyed, right? Once you start showing metrics wrong.
Yeah, you see that and you're like, that doesn't, wait, how does that make sense?
Then I saw all these, I'm going to call them glazers, dude. There's a bunch of glazers online just saying, oh my God, the AGI is here. These other models are cooked. And I'm just anytime someone says that, it's some bullshit. And for the first day, there was a lot of bias towards GPT-5 being amazing. And then also people complaining about the metrics that they said. Then there's just a bunch of people where it seems like they were paid, right? It's so mysterious how many people are just saying nice things about it. But, we're builders. We're talking to other builders. Then, later on, the builders essentially probably got off work and they're like, hey, I'm going to try this shit out. And then you started seeing all the builders saying, what is this bullshit? This sucks at coding. And this is what we care about right now, right? So it was just a bunch of bullshit. I still use Sonnet, so it didn't really work.
Yeah, I would say, my take is I'm using it in ChatGPT. Sam's here. What's up, Sam?
Good to see you.
Sam, what do you think about GPT-5? From one Sam to another.
From one Sam to another, underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta talk loud though if you're gonna.
Yeah, there we go. Underwhelming. Cool. It like. I don't think the hype lived up to the. I don't think the hype lived up to the reality. I think even more than that. The sort of the take is that progress seems to be slowing down, and that's very interesting.
Yeah. Which I actually think is a good thing because it allows the ground to settle, so we can actually build things on top of. If it's too shaky, it's really hard to build. Right? Things are changing every couple months. A lot of people are just waiting for the next model to come out to hopefully solve all their problems. Well, I think now we know that maybe that's not going to happen. It might happen to a small degree, but maybe now the foundation is starting to be set so we can actually start to build interesting things with the technology we do have.
I always thought that anecdote was so stupid. Where like, remember during YC they would tell us like, oh yeah, we have people who are just waiting for that next model and their business will change forever. I'm like, damn, you waiting for shit? You're probably not gonna make it, dude.
Well, it's true though, and that new model was like Claude Sonnet 3.5 too.
Yeah.
Right. That made a huge difference for like Replit. That made a huge difference for like all the coding agents. Is there going to be another inflection like that? I don't know.
Maybe people are just betting that that's going to happen again.
Yeah,
I think new models do give you that slight increase. So maybe new things that weren't quite possible before are, but I don't think as many things as it would happen. It doesn't seem like the gap is as big as it was.
Yeah.
I do have some, I will say as far as like a daily use, I use GPT-5. It's pretty good. I don't notice any drastic difference. I think, it's slightly better in some things. In some deep research tasks, it seemed like it's probably still using, the O3 under the hood.
Yeah.
But for coding, we talked to a lot of developers. Here are some real comments from various Slack channels, both internally, but also like other developers outside of Mastra. GPT-5 and Cursor is slow AF. It's shit, honestly. Not a good coding model at all. And here's a direct quote. I'm suspicious of everyone on Twitter giving it so much praise. Feels like they're being paid for their posts.
Dude, I think so.
I tried to scaffold a new package and it took 10 minutes and just created a one sentence README. And I know they had some issues when it first came out. And so I do think that there are more and more people that are using it as a daily driver. Maybe more people are using it as code. If you're in the chat, I'd love to hear, are you using GPT-5 for your coding? See you, Sam. Thanks for stopping in. But are you using GPT-5 for your daily code model? Or are you still using Sonnet or Gemini or whatever? Like, I'm curious on how many people are actually using it. Have you noticed a drastic result, a small increase, a decrease? Like, I'm genuinely curious. It seems like in Cursor, it's not very good.
No.
But Cursor did come out and have many comments around how they're making it better and improving it and trying to improve the speed. So there is I do anticipate it's going to continue to get better. Yeah. Sherwood says the whole team in person. Wow. Founding team, at least, was all here. Yeah.
He's going to be a guest next week.
Yeah. Sherwood's coming on next week. So, tune in.
I use GPT-5 as my therapist and it has not changed. So I think that's the only one.
Well, that was actually one of the things that came up is, this whole concept around people using it for their therapists and spending so much time with it that they basically like almost becoming too involved with AI. Yeah. And so I think they, one of the things with GPT-5 is they kind of turn that back a little, turn the dial back.
Yeah.
But related to this topic, why don't I share this post? So some of you, this is kind of old news at this point, but we're going to talk about it anyways.
My favorite person.
So Sam Altman says, if you've been following the GPT-5 rollout, some people have an attachment to specific AI models. Feels different and stronger than the kinds of attachment people had to previous kinds of technology. And so to summarize this post, a lot of people were really sad that GPT-4o just went away. I actually think it was a really good product decision to have one model that kind of decides for you. But so many people kind of complained about losing access to 4.0, that there's now a legacy option. You can go and you can find it pretty easily, and you can still talk to GPT 4.0. So if you do, if unlike Abby, you feel like there's a big difference in your communication, you can go back to 4.0. I don't know how long it'll be there, but it's there right now.
Yeah. I do think the architecture of the model is good, where you have a model switcher under the hood that's just doing agent network type shit. Sorry, routing model type shit.
Yeah, it's basically a routing model. And related to this, still on the OpenAI ChatGPT, GPT-5 got some upgrades. The biggest thing on this was, they basically have auto, fast, and thinking toggles, and they expanded your weekly quotas for thinking. So just some updates. They're going to keep making improvements. There's a lot more that's going to be coming, but yeah, I still think it didn't quite land. And I am still skeptical of when people are overly hyped about it. I mean, I do think it's a pretty good model, but I don't think it lived up to what they wanted it to be.
I think I would have respected it more if there was no hype. I'd be like, yeah, this is actually this is good.
This is AI. It's hype driven.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Sherwood says, I think OpenAI underestimated the extent to which personality is an emergent trait of LLMs.
It's very true.
Agreed.
People like the way Claude talks to them and things like that.
So
weird.
Continuing on with OpenAI, OpenAI is considering offering encryption for temporary or private chats. So that was just some additional news, which I think would be good. If you typically want your private chats to be
down
private.
In the DMs, I guess.
If you're going deep, but I suppose there's some liability in things, not being able to get back to that.
You tell GPT that you murdered someone.
Yeah.
Like, what's the
so I think,
what's the law there?
And because we can't at least not casually mention it, if you've been on X, you've probably seen it. There was
This is so funny.
Some drama, which I just think it's hilarious that this is the timeline we are in, where you have two, titans of the AI industry, I guess you could say, billionaires, at least on paper for sure. You got Elon's, wasn't even targeted at OpenAI, I guess, really. It was more targeted at Apple, that Elon was basically saying that Apple is playing favorites in the App Store. A bunch of community notes said, no, you're wrong. Here's why. And then Sam Altman comes in and says, remarkable claim because Elon manipulates X. And then Elon says, you got more views on your bullshit post, you liar. And I have 50 times your follower count, and you get more views than a lot of my posts. And then Sam Altman just responds with skill issue.
Fire, dude.
So it's just, and there was a few other things that came on, and overall just hilarious to see two billionaires kind of going at it in public in the town square.
Yeah. And then getting fact checked by your own product.
And you're wrong. You think Elon's going back and be like, hey, we need to fix this.
I would have moderated that shit myself, removed it.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways it's good that you can be fact checked by your own thing. So it gives a little credibility to some of your claims, but
skill issue though.
But skill issue was a good comeback. I will say that. So let's continue on talking about XAI. So this article, XAI opens Grok 4 access to the free tier. So a lot of these news just kind of follow the big players. Right? What did the big players release in the last week since we last talked? So XAI made some changes, added more Grok access for more people.
But also see how the wording here, GPT-5 backlash grows. Like, I don't know. I would be very careful on how you interpret news these days.
Yeah, the news is trying to sell something.
Yeah.
So there's some. This is just an interesting anecdote. Meta is planning a fourth restructuring of its AI efforts in the last 6 months.
What the fuck is going on over there, dude?
Yeah, I don't know. They're
spend all this money and you're restructuring again.
Yeah, they should be shipping improvements to Llama. I think that's what a lot of people want to see.
That's what people want,
especially in the open source models. But yeah, restructuring again. So let's talk a little bit about Google, and then we'll come back and do some more AI news because our guest has arrived.
Nice.
But So we'll do some rapid fire on some Google news. So Gemini has released personalized memory and temporary chats. So that's kind of some new personalization features, which ChatGPT's had for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've kind of rolled it out more broadly. This is actually old, but I need to share this because it's kind of related to the template stuff we talked about. You can now create, and this is like a little old, but you can create a storybook right inside Gemini, which is pretty neat.
Pretty cool.
You know, you can use a Mastra template, which is pretty cool,
Yeah.
but you can just ask Gemini to do it as well. And so I think that's a pretty cool little feature that they just added.
Yeah, but like Gemini, who actually uses Gemini app like standalone? You know, like what you want is it in Google Assistant and your home and shit, but it's the integration actually whack. So if you work at Google, make that shit better.
Yeah, I do know some people that use it standalone.
Just the Gemini
Just
app?
the Gemini app, which is, you know, I think it's smaller, but there are people that use it. All right, we're going to keep, there's some more news. This one came out last week. So Gemma 3
Nice.
270M. It's a basically compact model that was released by Google. So it came out last week. And I think it's, if you kind of look at how it compares like size to basically performance, it's pretty good. It's small. So the idea is it can be used. It's like really latency sensitive, so really fast, really small, and you can kind of like use it. I think they maybe mentioned like maybe in video games and stuff, but things where you want like really quick access. So I could see this being really useful on device as well because it's just such a small model.
Yeah. I think we're starting to realize that in the execution of your agent loop, you might want to use any number of models for different things at different times. And you don't just have to use OpenAI, right? You could do whatever you want in different parts.
Yeah. And I think some people are realizing that depending on the tasks, sometimes small models, especially if it's really scoped tasks, can do the job really well and much faster. So
because like coding agents are very expensive, right? Like if you just look at it at face value, you could like, and we have one of our people, dudes, Tyler is building his own coding agent.
Yeah.
Because he wants to do it for cheap and he wants to use open source models.
Yeah. I mean, we'll bring Tyler on. Tyler's hot take is his hot take is he doesn't think Cursor or Claude Code really do that much. He's like, I can do it better.
Yeah.
It's like he's like
and cheaper.
His like hobby project code agent is what he uses. He thinks it's just as good as Claude Code for him. So we'll bring him on eventually.
Yeah.
Someday when he's ready to show it, see if he's right. I'm a little skeptical, but he's confident. So I believe
he's smart, dude.
He's smart.
Maybe.
So one more news article.
Jules.
So Jules, kind of a Codex competitor. I haven't used Jules. I've used Codex, but they basically have this idea of like critic augmented generation. So it's like a multi-agent system, right? We talk about these like agent networks or multi-agent systems. There's essentially a critic agent that just is there to like shame the original agent into saying like, no, this is right, or this is wrong. Here's an error. And it basically just passes the information back to the agent and lets the agent kind of correct itself. It's kind of like a linter, but it's much more in-depth, I guess.
Makes sense.
So
I thought you weren't supposed to write multi-agent systems, huh?
Depends on depends on who you ask. Seems like Google's using some kind of multi-agent system where the critic comes in and kind of processes, and it's probably pretty repeatable. I'm sure everything that the main agent does, the critic kind of evaluates and passes back, and it gets into some loop, right?
Yeah.
But if you're designing your own agent, you might take
It's just an eval loop, really.
It is.
Yeah.
You might take a play out of the Google playbook. Probably something you can learn from.
Do they mention A to A in this thing? No.
I didn't see it.
Probably because it's irrelevant. Anyway.
All right. So we will continue on. There's a lot more AI news. We'll come back and we'll do a little more.
But the goose needs to get on the loose.
The goose needs to be on the loose. So we're going to bring in.
Loose now.
Yeah, time to set the goose loose. And we're going to bring in Dan.
Goose.
How you doing?
What's up, dude?
Okay, super happy to be here. It's been a while since I've noticed you guys doing these podcasts, and I was like, since day one, man, I really got to make the time to be here. So now here I am, happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I've been on your show one time, and obviously, we've been talking to you as you've been doing some stuff with Vapi. But for those that don't know, I'm sure your reputation precedes itself. But for those few people that might not know, give us a little background. Who's Dan?
Yeah, Dan Goose. I'm a developer relations lead here at Vapi. Before that, I don't know. I guess I was known as a shit poster on Twitter. I don't know. Yeah, I'm an engineer by background. It's my first ever marketing adjacent function in my career. But yeah, I've been producing content, producing documentation, API, SDKs, DevTools. Yeah, I've been a little bit all over the place.
Yeah. So tell the users your story. You're not from around here, are you?
Oh, no, I'm not. Long story short, I don't want to spill too many details. I am a ballet dancer by profession. I came here from Russia around 5 years ago. Got stuck in Sacramento area during COVID. It was kind of tricky to get out, and then got here to San Francisco and sort of kicked off my career in the startup space about 4 months ago.
Wow. Yeah, I see you all over now, right? With Vapi doing hackathons and things like that.
Yeah, that's actually entirely my initiative. I figured, we need some presence in the developer community, and Bay Area developers, in my humble opinion, are the most valuable developers to reach.
Yeah, totally. I think before you got at Vapi, like LiveKit was dominating the voice AI meetup scene, I would say, because we would get invited. But now there's a bunch of Vapi events all the time, which is dope.
That's right. That's right.
And we like to attend them with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell people, a lot of people probably know what Vapi is, but for those that don't, what's Vapi? And then what are the things that you do, since you've joined Vapi there?
Yeah, absolutely. First things first, I really appreciate you getting the name right because a lot of people don't. It's not Vapi. It is not a vape company, as much as many would believe. Vapi stands for Voice API. It's a platform for developers to build conversational AI experiences with voice. And the way it works is it's just like orchestration layer for bringing together LLMs, text-to-speech and speech-to-text models, and plugging them into each other nicely so that people have a pleasant experience building agents on top of that. We expose a very straightforward API for getting any major provider model out there, plugging into the pipeline, connecting some OpenAI API spec compliant tools, connecting knowledge bases, all the good stuff that you need to get started really quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you, I'm not paid by Vapi, so I'm going to give you my takes. So originally when we first started, we were, when you're kind of in YC, we'd hear a lot of people were using Vapi, right? We met one of the founders, like
at Gustav's
house.
At
Gustav's house. So like it was getting to be the point where like it was definitely taking off. But we'd also I'd hear a lot of people that would eventually run up to the limits of what Vapi could do, and then they'd have to say, okay, we got to roll it ourselves. I can honestly say I'm hearing that significantly less than I used to. So whatever you're doing over there, you're expanding and making it more developer friendly, where I think before it was really quick to get started, really great solution. But if you really were doing something super complex, you'd hit the edges. I do like I said, I haven't been paying that close of attention, but I just hear it so much less and I've actually heard people saying they tried to roll it themselves and they're like, damn it, I'm using Vapi.
Yeah.
And so they go the other, so I'm actually hearing more go the other way than I did, I would say 6 months ago.
Yeah, because people would complain and be like, oh, I'm just going to use Pipecat or what is this stuff? And it was good, but not great. And then now people are like, fuck Pipecat. I'm not going to use that shit.
Yeah, they're like, I'm going to use Vapi. Yeah. And they end up going the other way. They're like, I wanted all the control because you get the developers. I just want all the control. Yeah. And then they realize, one of the things similar to in Mastra, they realize if you give up just a little bit of control, you actually get so much that you don't have to worry about then. And so it's fine. Striking that balance is hard, of course. But from the outside looking in, it seems like Vapi's figuring it out.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of it has been honestly about the narrative, what not narrative, but the perspective, what people see Vapi as. Not a lot has changed in terms of our offering, to be perfectly honest with you. It's just that the documentation, the content we put out there is making people more aware of what you get out of Vapi when you get started. That's it. At any point over the past 6 months, you could plug in your own LLM, TTS, STT model into the pipeline. That's cool. You can plug in any tool, any MCP integration, It's super flexible, super configurable, and you don't have to worry about scaling infrastructure. Your app gonna blow up, you're gonna scale with us, no problem. We got you covered. Honestly, I'm not even saying this like as a Vapi show right now. I've been with the company only 2 months, and I'm always trying to say the truth as truthfully as I can. Infra team here is cracked. All right, the infrastructure work that people are doing here, it's absolutely incredible, and we're going to be seeing a lot of price reductions in the next few months, which will also unlock a lot more use cases for people.
Yeah, and get more people top of funnel in too. Because when we talk to voice people, they are so latency sensitive.
Yeah.
Everything about it is latency.
Yeah.
Latency and cost are really much. You feel it in chat a little bit, right? But in voice, it's even more important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
for
people
sure.
are charging so much, so the price reduction is actually good, like economies of scale type thing, right? Because I think that's another reason why people complain about all these providers is like it costs like 10x or something, but then they can't do it themselves. So
Yeah, and it's actually like another thing that has been sort of fascinating me over the past few months since I got into voice AI. There are different approaches to building conversational AI experiences. You take a look at the GPT-4 real-time model, end-to-end model, multi-model experience. All you have to worry about is passing in the voice and getting back voice, right? What we do traditionally is a pipeline of 3 models, LLM, TTS, STT. We figure out the orchestration. And it is so much cheaper and so much more effective for majority of business use cases out there because end-to-end models are super expensive to run.
Yeah.
People don't realize that.
Yeah, I mean, we did have one person that we had been talking to that was building some Mastra agents, but was building voice on top. And they basically said that, OpenAI's real-time model is not feasible. It's just not feasible for what they need in order to be able to, like, the number of calls they were expecting, the number of what they were going to charge the customer, right? They could pass through. And so the economics just did not work. It wasn't even close. And so, yeah, it's like a factor of 10, I think, it's significantly.
Oh, yeah.
And so maybe you have less flexibility though, as well. Maybe you get some latency improvements, which is maybe good, but it's arguable because you don't get to choose the model. And so maybe you don't need the best model. You can kind of decide the model based on the use case.
Yeah, but OpenAI cooled off on the hype that they were driving on that. Why is that after? Like remember they hyped up OpenAI voice. Where are they? Right? Because the right architecture is like Dan said. You need a pipeline. Because there's other shit in voice that's not even AI related, right? Like voice activity detection or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So you actually need a pipeline that is not, maybe it's built into the live model, which it is, but then it's not worth the money though.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you don't want to worry about as a developer, like voice activity detection, utterance detection, all those things are figured out for you if you're using Vapi, and it's like figured out pretty well. But yeah, one use case that really impressed me with end-to-end voice model, it was built with Foro real time. I think I saw it at one of the hackathons. Was a singing coach. Like you could actually ask the model to like identify where your pitch is wrong during. I think it was Queen "We're the Champions" song that they were demoing. It was pretty incredible. Yeah.
So now you test it. Show us. Can you do it? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
I think Swix was using some voice AI to sing karaoke at AI.engineer.
Yeah, it might have been OpenAI's real-time model, but yeah, I know. So I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen people use it, and that's kind of a cool unlock for people. Is like if AI gets good enough to evaluate and help you be like a vocal coach, that's a good use case.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's fully there yet, but it's obviously like there's pieces, there's breadcrumbs. It's going to be there.
Yep, we're moving there definitely.
So, what's your favorite part of the city, dude? Now that you live in SF and you're here now, do you like have any favorite spots?
Favorite places in the city. I stopped running, but when I would run along the shore, just by the ferry building, pier to pier. On the western side, I love going for hikes, like anywhere really on the western coast. And yeah, I have a few favorite bars that I wouldn't want to disclose on stream, but would love to have you guys join me at some point.
Well, they disclose those off stream.
Yeah.
Yes.
Drop it in the private chat.
Yeah, that's right.
Tonight. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So what's next then? I guess is there anything besides what I'm sure we can circle back to Vapi, but you do any like personal projects, anything else that you've been tinkering around with? What other things have you been exploring outside of just voice AI?
Yeah, personally, and that's a big reason why I joined Vapi in the first place, is I'm looking to explore other ways humans can interact with technology. And voice is going to be one of those things that's going to unlock a lot more use cases than people realize. And I wanted to personally invest some time into seeing what you can build with voice. I've seen some interesting use cases with wearables. I've seen some interesting use cases with like handoff tools. Like I drive a motorcycle, and I would really love to have a voice application for, I don't know, checking my messages or, I don't know, updating my navigation. Right now, it's not really figured out very well. God damn, if I talk to Siri, I'm gonna do something wrong with my phone. I don't want to ever talk to Siri. I want to turn that shit off.
I mean, you need a voice agent on your motorcycle to shitpost memes on X while you're driving. I mean, you need.
That's where I get my inspiration, because whenever I come up with an idea, I have to stop and write it down. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is
But
funny
yeah.
to like an earlier segment we had where people want to make everything AI native, right? And having voice is a big part of that. It should be part of every app that we have, adding these AI features. Like the fact that Siri sucks is a travesty. Honestly.
Yeah, tragedy. Honestly, tragic.
It doesn't even make sense how it can be as bad as it is. It should just. I mean, I don't know. You think that's like a? I don't know if it's too much risk for them to just like open up a more open-ended LLM, but the technology is clearly there. It wouldn't even be that hard. There's enough, but yeah.
Yeah, I think they just don't want to. They just don't feel like it's important, which is kind of sad for the consumer, in my humble opinion.
You mentioned wearables. Like, what excites you most in the wearable space?
Yeah, I've seen some very interesting use cases with glasses, smart glasses. I don't know if you've ever seen me walking around the city, but I would always wear my Meta Ray-Bans. I love them, but God, do I hate the fact that they're closed source. Like, I can't hack. I mean, you can hack them, and like, I'm not gonna say that I haven't done it. I've used the Instagram streaming hack to like stream the video to my server at home and do facial recognition, which is like barely legal. I didn't say that. I am just trying to see what you can do with technology, and it's not like I've ever been using it without people's consent. But what I want to see is more of these platforms becoming open source. I think there are a few startups in YC even who are doing that, and there are a few companies that are trying to take strides in that direction, but nobody really cracked that yet. So I'm really, really waiting for that to happen. And I've seen people using it for navigation. I've seen people using it for helping people with disabilities. I've seen people using that for what was the other one? For like being an assistant, literally like asking things and then bringing things up on the screen on the glasses. Like, it's so futuristic. I love this. I really want to see this happen sooner than later.
Yeah, same here. Like, especially unlocking like AR in real life that's also connected to an agent and doing all that.
Yeah, I've heard Meta is working on glasses with a screen now, so we'll see.
Yeah, but then with their AI restructuring, we'll see if they fucking do anything.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will see. We will see.
Seems like they'd have the talent to pull it off, right?
And they definitely spent enough money to have the talent for sure.
Oh yeah. One thing Meta has been always consistently good at is getting talent, I'll say. And what has been happening over the past few months, absolutely crazy. Unprecedented level of crazy poaching talent. But we'll see if that pays off. I'm not particularly optimistic. I'll say I'm neutral.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think, one of these restructurings has got to work.
I'm bearish on
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they got the people. They should be able to do something, but
they got Mr. Wang himself, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they got the talent. It's just, do they have the organization and do they have the right vision? I think that's also important, right?
Yeah.
If you get a lot of talented people, they can sometimes butt heads because there are so many smart people in the room. Who's making the decisions, and do this other smart people in the room respect the person enough making those decisions? So there's like, sometimes when you have too many people, it's actually like a team of slightly less talented but cohesive people can outship and outmaneuver a bigger, more talented team. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
But hopefully we get some good stuff out of it. I think I think we could. It's just a matter of if they pull it together.
Time will tell.
So what else, before we wrap up here, anything else that Vapi has going on? Any other events that are coming up that you want to plug?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, we'll be at a bunch of events this week. I think 5. We'll be at Y Combinator a few days this week. If you're in for any of those hackathons, you'll see me around there. We will have a Voice AI Builder meetup, which is a Voice AI community that I'm trying to build. It's going to be at Vapi HQ, held on Thursday. You can find it on Luma and RSVP there. If you have a Voice AI demo to showcase, that would be most awesome. If not, still cool. We're just looking to bring people together and talk about all the cool things you can build with voice. But outside of that, yeah, just find us on Luma. We have a public calendar where you can see all the events.
Awesome, dude. And people can follow you, if they want. They can follow you on X. You're a good follow.
Good follow.
Good follow. You have some. I've chuckled multiple times out loud at some of your posts, so I appreciate that.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I will also say that I'm working on some YouTube videos right now that I want to start puffing out some video content. So expect more of that in the following weeks.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm sure that you will be posting about it on your X account, but keep an eye out. Dan, it was great chatting with you. We'll have you back on again. Maybe we should, while I'm in town this week, hopefully I'll run into you in person.
We need to let the goose out.
We'll let the
goose
is really on the loose.
All right.
All right, Dan. Great chat.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming here. Nice.
All right, dude.
The goose was loose, dude.
Goose was loose today.
That's cool that Vapi is making moves.
Yeah. I mean,
the disciples of Gustav.
Yeah, same group partner. All right, dude. We've been doing this 2 hours, but there is more news, and we cannot leave the people without getting through the news. So we will still do a rapid fire, but we have some stuff from Anthropic, Microsoft, and then some other random things that we will try to get to here pretty quickly, because 2 hours is a long time.
Yeah,
I need a nap.
So we've been talking about GPT-5, right? But then our homies come and drop a freaking banger on these GPT-5 guys. And so now you can see, I guess we'll pose the same question we always do. Is RAG dead? No.
Is RAG dead? You have 1 million tokens of context. Maybe RAG's dead.
Maybe it is, but maybe it's not.
I don't think so.
It's not dead.
It's not it's just a tool. It's a tool. You still need it.
Dude, but how baller is it to drop a 1 million tokens while all these people are just talking about backlash and everything, and you just keep rocking with your own shit, making it better?
But I do have to ask this question. What is that logo?
It's a butthole.
But what are the hands doing? And once I saw it, you can't unsee it.
Oh my god, dude! What the?
I just I got to bring it up. There's a whole joke of every AI logo looks like some kind of version of a butthole, and now you got 2 hands around the butthole. I mean, it's just. I don't want to be childish, but come on, they're not. I think they're leaning into it.
I think they're leaning in. They probably listen to our show and they're like, "Hey, they found out."
I mean, all right, that looks like 2 hands around a butthole. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you other than that's what it looks like to me.
It is what it is.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So
that's okay. I'll take the 1 million context window.
But Claude Sonnet now sports 1 million tokens of context, which is great. More context. It's a little spendy, cheaper than Opus, but still spendy. They highlight bolt.new, which we'll talk about in the future anyways. But yeah, Sonnet is still my daily driver for writing code. That has not changed. And I don't have plans of it changing soon. We'll see.
No.
But there's more from Anthropic. So Anthropic, has always been a proponent of AI safety. And so they're releasing some more things. So Anthropic says some Claude models can now end harmful or abusive conversations. So if you're a user and you're taking it down a rabbit hole and Claude ends the conversation, you should probably ask yourself what you were doing.
Yeah.
It's probably not a good sign. But essentially, just more safety measures, trying to probably protect people from themselves in a lot of cases.
What if Claude will start swatting you? It's in the SWAT team.
That was the joke in the past, is that in certain situations it could alert authorities.
That's true.
And that's kind of concerning behavior. I like this better.
Yeah.
End the conversation before it gets too far.
Yeah.
Don't call the SWAT team on someone.
Yeah.
But there's so then there's some other releases. This is specifically to Claude Code, which I use quite a bit. And this one is really exciting to me because I have a background in like teaching, and we released our Mastra MCP course, which is like a MCP server that basically tries to get your IDE, your agent, to act like a teacher or an instructor. But now Claude Code has announced learning mode, which is pretty cool because it turns the Claude Code agent from "I'm going to do this for you" to "I'm going to teach you how this works." And I don't know how many people will use it. I haven't yet tested it. I'm curious to test like our MCP doc server with the learning mode and see if it like really does a good job of explaining it.
That's a good idea, dude. We should try that.
Because I think it would go deeper than just doing it for you. It would take the content of the course and then try to teach you the content of the course. So I'm curious, this was announced last week. Haven't had a chance to test it yet, but I do think this idea of not just having the agent do it for you, but teach you along the way is important because as we've all seen, the code generated from these agents can still be insecure if you don't understand it, if you don't review it. It's great for demos and prototypes, but if you really want to ship something in production, your code still has to be reviewed, and people have to understand what the code's doing. Maybe someday they won't. That day's not today, and that day's not tomorrow. So the ability to have it act as a teacher, I think, is a huge unlock.
Yeah.
I hope Cursor adds some kind of like learning mode. I hope VS Code has some kind of learning mode. Yeah. Every agentic editor, it's not that much harder, right? You just have a different agent with a different system prompt,
correct,
with a different goal.
And we're not saying that because we have an MCP course that it would be beneficial, even though that's exactly why we want it, though.
Yeah, but it just makes sense. People want to learn stuff,
as
well as have it do it for them. I mean, I hope people use this, and my fear is that no one will, and they'll just like But I desperately want.
Maybe because the terminal is not a good surface area for learning. Maybe the IDE is better.
I think the IDE would be better, which is Cursor. If you're listening, Windsurf, you're
Cursor.
Still out there, right?
What's Windsurf, dude? Just kidding. Is it called Devon now, or is it still Windsurf?
I think it's still Windsurf.
I didn't mean anything by that. If you're watching Windsurf,
yeah, come on the show.
I used to love you.
Come on the show. Win us back.
Win us back.
I can be won back. All right, Claude Code, more Claude Code. It has a new model option. So just a simple little change, instead of just selecting Opus or Sonnet, you can basically say, like, I want Opus to plan it and then Sonnet to execute it.
That's a trend going back.
Yeah.
People doing different models for different things.
Yeah, you don't have to use the same model for everything. So Claude Code's releasing it. I think, if you're building your own agent, if you're building your own agents, you should look at all of these like Cursors, Claude Codes, and what they're doing, because a lot of those techniques are probably relevant to you. And the same thing we looked at, like with what Jules is doing.
Yep.
If you're building agents, a lot of the techniques can be applicable for the agents that you're building, right?
There are patterns that exist.
Yeah. So it's like, maybe a better model to plan out the task and then pass it off to a slightly lesser or cheaper, more latency sensitive model to actually execute. All right. So that is the Anthropic updates.
I like that. That was good.
So Microsoft is, they're still in the game. They're still here. They released something called POML, Prompt Orchestration Markup Language, which is cool because we've been talking about, whether in Mastra, like, should we have prompt templates? Like, what does that look like? Is there a standard? I don't know if this is going to be it, but I think something like this needs to exist.
Yeah, like, the problem with these is like the abstraction, but I guess if there's very expressive, like an XML type of structure, I don't know if this is going to take off or not. That's the threat here.
Yeah.
Because then you have to you have to deal with all this shit later if it's not the standard that you want to do. Which is why I think most people just like writing strings and they'll just manage it themselves, you know, like no magic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it's XML, so you have the role, the task. I guess you can put images directly into it. You can specify an output format.
Just compiles right to the object structure.
Yeah, and then it just compiles it, right? So it's not that different than like, you know, React, right? Of just like compiling into HTML. I mean, that's the goal, right? Is you have some kind of structure that then compiles to what ends up being a string that becomes your, you know, a way to structure your context, right? It's all context engineering.
Yep.
Will this win? I don't know. I haven't looked at it enough to have a strong opinion, but overall it kind of makes sense. Like I think there is a use case for having prompt templates that can do things, and you can insert variables. You can do, you know, similar things to what you could do with, you know, Markdown or HTML.
I just don't think it's very novel at this point because there are so many preompt and you name it, dude. Like
so I think in the one case, like MCP was the right place at the right time. This feels like it might be just a little too late.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's going to take a long time before one or two standards emerge. That's the problem. Is that MCP is kind of become the standard. It's going to be hard for anything to unseat MCP, even if it's not perfect. I do worry that this is like there's too many other like disparate examples that the idea that Microsoft can come in and release it, and it kind of feels like when Google released Ada. Although I don't think there's just one winner yet. So maybe there's a little more hope, but I'm not. I would bet against it, but you know.
Yeah, like the difference between MCP and this, right? Like this, you have a fallback, which is just writing strings. With MCP, you truly needed. Maybe you didn't. I don't know, but you truly needed some type of format for tool calling and getting all the tools and stuff. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think people will adopt and you try it, and I do think that, you know, it's one of those things. It's not that hard to probably eject from this because you can just eject into a string. So if it's the lower risk, you could try it and you can move away from it. I don't think it's that big a deal. So I hope more people try this or other types of things. You know, maybe at Mastra we'll experiment with what templates could look like someday. We're not quite there yet, but I do think that something like this, there needs to be a few standards, you know, ideally one, but hopefully just a few that emerge, and maybe this one will eventually take over. And so preompt was mentioned by Sherwood. Yep, that's a good call out. Cursor invented prompt templating based off JSX. So it is one of those things that.
But it's whack though. But anyway.
It
hasn't landed, right? And then there's GenSX too. GENSX. They also have a very similar thing. Dispy.
Yep. There's a whole bunch of them. That's part of the problem, right? Is like
instructor.
It's the meme that, you know, Microsoft said there needs to be a standard, so they introduced. There's 12 standards for this, and then they introduced a new standard, and now it's like now there are 13 standards to do the same thing. Will one win? We'll see. It seems like it's not. Feels more of like a trivial problem than like the core problem that MCP solves. So I think it's gonna be hard for one to be dominant. I think you'll have niches of people that love this because it gives them something, and there'll be teams around that. Yeah. But I don't think it'll become like a massive standard that in the way that MCP has.
Yeah. As long as any of these tools compile to LLM model messages that you can send to the API, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
So we have a few more things, and then we're going to get out of here. So we have some news from Bolt. I don't know if this is actually news, if I'm being honest, but I feel like this is just an announcement. I think it's existed for a while.
Yeah.
But they announced last week Bolt Cloud. So it says today this changes. I don't know if if it was a change or they've just slowly been building this up and releasing it. Now they're kind of just packaging it and announcing it. That's kind of what marketing does. But with Netlify and Supabase, they're basically saying that it's a unified platform for building and scaling billions of users. I think the challenge that a lot of these tools face is how do you go from toy or prototype to production? Well, you need a good deployment provider. You need good database and auth. And so I think Bolt is saying, like, with Netlify Supabase, you have Bolt Cloud. You can now productionize these things.
Why labeled it?
Yeah, they're basically saying, like, now it's production ready.
Yeah.
I still think
weren't they already deploying to Netlify? Is it like now they're doing it on?
Like I said, I think this is more of a marketing release, in my opinion. I think all this stuff existed 2 weeks ago, and now it's just like maybe they added a few little things, and they're saying, okay, now it's ready to officially announce that it's here. Even though if people were using Bolt, I think most of it was already there for. It's been getting added onto over the last couple months.
I think maybe before, like, you would create Netlify projects, but then you'd have to claim them.
Yeah, maybe.
Claim them later. So now it's probably all tidy.
Now it's a much more integrated experience, I suppose, and they're just using Netlify under the hood, but it feels like you're still part of Bolt, which is cool because it makes it easier. And same with Supabase. You don't see that it's Supabase powering it, but I think with these tools, something like this needs to exist. I still question the complexity of apps that, can be deployed here. I still, really like Lovable. I like Bolt. I like Replit. We've used them, to build like prototypes, and I think a lot of people have. But I think that if you've really dealt with working with these agentic, code editors, that they still fall short, and there's obviously they have security issues. So if you don't know the code, I'm really still skeptical of how quality of some of these apps can be. But I know that there are exceptions, and there are a lot of live projects out there that are probably insecure as hell, but they're live.
But they're like the Bolt Hackathon had a lot of cool projects. It's just like, how many of those are like true production type of things? I think that's where like all these companies are trying to figure out, like, how do we get our users into like a production use case that generates them revenue,
Yeah, and eventually, I got to imagine between Replit, Lovable, and Bolt, they want to get you from just like a $10 a month plan to some kind of enterprise, right? Like there's almost always an upscale enterprise motion, and so they're probably thinking, if I were them, I'd be thinking, okay, well, people say that vibe-coded apps aren't secure. Let's have a security product that scans it, that tells you if it's secure or not. It can be agentic, right? There's all these different tools that you can layer on that can, if you have enough tools laid on, maybe you can get it to the point where it does feel like you can safely deploy this stuff at scale.
They want the types of projects, just like Claude, right, that require lots of prompting, that you're just iterating, so you're spending more money. That's the type of projects that you want. If you're just vibe coding a UI, like maybe you exit the iteration loop at some point because the UI is done or something, And if it's not a production app, you're not going to come back to it and maintain it the same way. So you're probably losing money. But then again, I haven't used Lovable in months. I still pay $20 a month.
They got you.
They got me, dude.
They got you.
Fucking geniuses.
Yeah, they still got you.
Just in case I want to vibe code something. Just in case.
Just in case. You got... I'm assuming your credits don't roll over.
No.
All right. So a few more things, and we'll get out of here. These are just some... we occasionally like to share interesting projects that we find on GitHub that maybe you'd be interested in. So a couple here that were shared among our team. If you're Claude Code users like we are, there's a Claude Code usage monitor, which I haven't tried, but seems pretty cool. It could tell me that a couple weeks ago when I spent $100 in a weekend, which, is probably a lot more now.
Yeah, or that time we spent $8,000.
Yeah, if Tyler would have had those 2 days, he spent $8,000 in usage. I guess he wasn't using Claude Code, but if you're looking for more detailed usage, that's pretty interesting.
Give it a star.
Yeah, give that thing a star. And another one. So this is just a symptom of a problem.
Yeah.
Right. And it's actually this. No, it's not the same user. It looked like it was the same GitHub user. But this is kind of a symptom of a broader problem that we need a ruler, because our code base is the same thing. We have like Claude Code rules. We have cursor rules. I mean, you get all these different rules, right? That are kind of end up in your repo, and you have to talk to them in slightly different ways. So the idea is, can we have one file that all the code agents can use, whether you're using Cursor, Claude Code,
Yeah.
because not everyone on the team uses the same tool.
Yeah.
And so I do think that, I don't know if this is going to be the standard that emerges, but I hope so. I hope there is some standard that says you can have one file and you get, it all ends up working out.
I think Claude contributed, right? Is that Anthropic in the contributors, or
It looks like it.
or is this Claude Code?
Claude, yeah, well, yeah,
It's
good
written
practice
with
Claude
Claude
code.
Code. Open hands agent. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some stars. Oh, did we?
My computer died.
Oh, we lost the lights.
I didn't have battery.
Here you go.
No, I actually have a charger.
Oh. Anyways, so give those things a star, and also, while you're there, find the Mastra repo. Give us a star too.
Yeah.
Give us a star on GitHub. We appreciate all your stars. And if you want a copy of this book, you want this, you can get a digital copy. Go to mastra.ai/book. Get yourself a digital copy. If you want a physical copy, just find me. If you're in the UK or the US, I can probably get you a copy. So find me or Abby, and you can do that right here.
Yeah. We're in SF this week, or we're going to a bunch of events. So if you need a book, you'll see us out in a boot.
Yeah, we'll be out and about in San Francisco. So any closing words of wisdom? But before, think about that. Go to YouTube, subscribe, follow us on X. You can watch us on LinkedIn. I got to get better about promoting all the different places you can find us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Hey, if you've been listening for a while, go give us a review on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify, because that would be helpful. Helps more people find us. So please do give us a 5-star review. If you are going to give us less than 5 stars,
just don't do it.
Just don't do it. Just be like, it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
They're not that bad. I'm not going to give them a negative review.
Don't fuck us, okay?
Yeah. But if you like us and you're willing to do just 2 minutes of effort, go give us a review, please. We would appreciate that. We try to have fun. We try to bring you the news. We try to bring you cool guests like we had today.
Crazy guests today.
Like, honestly, we've had great guests, but it feels like they're just more frequently, we're just getting people that are saying, like, I love the show, or I want to come on. And so if you're building something cool, reach out. We're always looking for more guests, but we've been getting some awesome guests lately.
Yeah, more to come too. We're getting really good at, I'm speaking as someone who didn't do the work, but we're getting really good at YouTube. Our YouTube videos are fire. They're really educational. We released one today. So check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, Alex has been on fire.
Alex is on fire right now.
So Alex, if you're watching this,
good job.
Great video, dude. So if you're curious, one of the biggest questions we get at Mastra, if I actually have a conversation with someone, is that's played around with it, is like, when do I use a workflow or when do I use an agent? And so he did like a Mortal Kombat style agents versus workflows video, and I'm not going to spoil it, but you should go watch it if you're curious on when you should use Mastra workflows, when you should use a Mastra agent, and you want to figure out like how to decide. It's a very good resource.
Yeah. And overall, this week we have crazy release tomorrow. Shit's popping, dude. It's just, we have a lot of shit to do. So thanks for supporting us as always.
Yeah. Stay tuned, and we will see you all